Hello and welcome back to the Queers On podcast with me, Alex Mitchell.
And me, Hollie Noble.
Today we are live in the studio with a studio record for the first time. It's very exciting. Ooh. And we have a phenomenal guest. She's an incredible comedian. You can catch her at clubs all around the country. Please welcome to the studio, Vix Leyton.
Oh, that is the nicest introduction on a podcast I've ever had, I think. So, thank you very much for
we
that.
do our best.
But little round of applause. You hope for it, but it very rarely happens.
Like being nice, but now just severely lower your expectations for the rest of the
podcast.
Yeah.
It gets worse.
Yeah. No, when we have a guest on the podcast, we ask two questions. And I usually ask, where are you and what you're drinking? But we're in our studio in Leeds for the first time, which is very exciting.
Our studio?
Our studio. We own the studio now. We don't own the studio. So we know where you are, but what we will say, instead of what are you drinking, we'll say, what is your favourite drink? What would be your dream drink
because
to
she
have
is
right
drinking
now?
something.
What are you drinking right now?
No.
And I got her it, so...
It wasn't my choice, necessarily.
Well, what would be your choice? What would be your choice? If in the dream world, if this was a professional podcast, of course,
and we could offer you other things.
If we could offer you anything in the world, what would you?
Oh, well, it depends what time we were recording, to be honest. This is brunch time, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's Sunday brunch time, so a little mimosa, a
Mimosa,
little Prosecco orange juice.
nice.
Yeah.
No, that's the best answer we've had.
I like that.
Because most people come up and they're like, I'll just have a coffee.
Yeah, I'll
And
just
it's
have a coffee.
Come on.
Yeah, let's get giddy. Let's
Let's do it.
Let's have a share. That's what podcasts are for.
Yeah. And then second question always comes from Hollie.
Okay, so my question is, how do you think Blue identifies
In terms of sexual
sexuality?
orientation.
Oh, I think Pan. I think Blue.
There are a lot of Pan Disney
Most
characters.
people say Pan when they come on. I
think
agree.
it's the voice though, because it's like the sexy Robin. It's the same guy that does like the Robin Hood voice, isn't it? It's
Is
like,
it?
I think
'Cause he
so.
is fit.
That's
another one of
sexy
his
Oh
voice.
my God,
Fox
right.
Robin Hood.
So now we're going to have to say, like we do on every episode, why this has come about, and it's because Alex fancies Mufasa.
My sexual awakening was Mufasa.
I totally get it.
Yeah.
Right, I'm sick
You
of
are
this!
done with this. We have smashed it.
Forget it.
You are
I'm
out of the
over it.
park here.
Jeremy Irons, fundamentally sexy character, sexy voice. He's imbued the spirit into that lion. Like I'm not
Jeremy Irons isn't Mufasa.
not Mufasa. No, that's
James L. Jones.
Scar.
Scar, yes.
Scar was
Bad
mine.
boy.
So you do fancy Scar?
The bad boy.
The bad boy.
I'm sick of this.
I think it was hotter, but you're right. Mufasa's got daddy energy.
I also,
like,
100%.
like,
I also think it's worth saying that there is a difference between bad boy and murderer, which is what Scar is.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
let's.
He's just
Big difference.
misunderstood, okay?
I can fix him.
I can fix it.
Honestly, being a kid in like the late 80s, early 90s, the lessons that you learn from cartoons, because they were just a little bit punchier than they are now, like Gem and the Holograms.
I don't know what that is. But
I could write an essay on this, right? It's a pop group, Gem and the Holograms. Gem is secretly a girl called Jerica. It's basically like Hannah Montana, but for the 80s. So Jerica finds an alien computer in her garage that turns her into Gem, this cool, outgoing, pink-haired, brilliant pop icon.
Incredible, yeah.
But she can't tell anyone. So only her band know that she is both Gem and quiet, mild-mannered Jerica Benson, who runs an orphanage for kids. Her boyfriend doesn't know.
What?
So much lore.
What is happening?
So much lore.
I know.
It sounds like my childhood.
Not even people talking about it, because her boyfriend doesn't know that she's Gem and Jerica. He's seeing both of them, and she's made in this cartoon to feel intense shame for lying to the love rat that is Rio, the purple-haired Lothario, that is seeing them both at the same time and making her feel like shit. And I've got.
This is amazing.
This is a university thesis that no one has written. I'd like to be the one that writes
because
it.
I think we've all got that film we watched as kids that no one's heard of. For me, it's Basil the Great Mouse Detective.
Oh, yes.
Do you know that? Yes. I've never met anyone else who knows what it is. You have no idea,
It's
do you,
so
Hollie?
good.
What is
It's an
going
underrated
on?
classic.
Basil the Great Mouse is a Disney film that should be illegal. It is absolutely insane. Right? It focuses on Basil, the Great Mouse Detective. He lives under Sherlock Holmes's house, right? But it's full of... They've tried to make loads of British references, but because it's Disney have done it in the 90s, they're all massively wrong. Like, at one point, they've got this little mouse who they're trying to make it like this quintessential British girl. And at one point, she walks in and goes, does anybody fancy some cheese crumpets? Like, it's that... They've got... All their pop culture references are so wrong, and it's so funny. At one point, they're investigating. They're trying to find the leader of this criminal gang. At one point, they genuinely go to a strip club in Portsmouth. Like, it is absolutely...
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It used to be harder hitting because, again, going back to Gem and the Hologram,
It's mad.
there's a creepy manager, basically, as well. That, like, you don't want to be in the same room as him. And There's a sex pest in a children's cartoon, and both bands.
That happens a lot.
Jem and the Misfits, who are objectively
Preparing them for the industry.
always trying to kill each other. Like they can't just be women thriving, like two female-led pop groups. Which you'd be like, this is great for the industry. No, always trying to kill each other. It makes women look the worst. I don't know who made it, but bad.
Because that's
bad.
with Basil the Great, they're all mice or rats in that film, and they go to strip bar and there's rats on poles. Like genuinely, it's insane, right? They at one point they go and visit the bad guy who lives in this lair. He's called Ratigan. He's the scariest villain of all time.
Camp as hell.
Camp as hell. Top hat, cane. He has the most incredible musical number.
We've already talked about representation on screen, but
yeah. Oh, Ratigan. Oh my God, Ratigan is like he's disgusting. Like he's the perfect villain because he's so sleazy, and but he's always smoking as well in a Disney film, and he's like smoking and blowing the smoke in like kids' faces. Like it's honestly mad. Like it's so good. And then he has the most incredible musical number where he's got a top hat and cane, and it's incredible.
Between that and the American Tale, honestly, I did not learn the right lessons as a child.
I don't know what the American Tale is.
It's like they were the Disney rivals.
I feel like I didn't have a child
at the time, but it was
okay.
it was sort of mice and rats, and it was like Eastern European mice moved to America because they were told the streets were paved with cheese, but actually it was all a kind of a big scam.
Well,
to
this
get
is
them...
the American dream, isn't
exactly,
it? That's what they're literally trying to do. Yeah, that's ridiculous.
It's
like
so
propaganda.
hard-hitting. Yeah.
Absolutely bad. I mean, we could do a whole episode on this, to be fair.
Yeah, let's forget the topic. We're
Let's
talking
forget
about
the
this
topic
now.
we were
We're talking about how we've been...
I don't know what the fuck you guys are talking about.
It was a wild time, okay?
Yeah, I think it was the time when, like, if you could... These were films that just immediately went to VHS.
Yeah.
Like, they were never in the cinema. Immediately went to VHS. And, like, was so... do you remember on VHS when you'd put it in and like especially Disney, I never did all of them, but there'd be a big black screen and then suddenly it would like pop up and say the feature presentation has begun, and then you'd be like, right, it's time for the film.
Right,
and you'd be like, right, let's go. Like that's my cool memories of childhood.
But the videos also somehow advertised DVD because they're like, oh, the quality of DVD is better. It's like, but you're watching it on a VHS, and they showed you the quality of a DVD, which begged the question, like, why couldn't videos just be that quality? And like, as well,
why couldn't
I was
they,
so frustrated by it. I was like, but you're showing me it.
Tinkerbell would always come on and be like, if you were rich, you could afford this quality.
Yeah.
That's literally all it was.
That frustrated you as a child?
Yeah, I think there was
Really
neurodiversity there very early on.
Yeah.
I was pedantic as hell. I was just like, if you can show me this on the screen, why aren't you just showing me this? Why make a poor quality one when you've got the means to make a good quality one? Like, I was an only child.
Were you eating caviar at the time?
No, I'm a working class child from Cardiff. I just had aspirations.
Yeah.
We had Sky that had fallen off the back of a lorry.
Whoa.
Oh yeah, we got cable. We found a satellite
Nice.
dish. It was not legit, but yeah.
Nice. Fair play, fair play. Also, being from Wales, first international guest. We've gone international, baby.
Okay,
Delighted to represent my
was
country.
thinking that Cardiff was in Scotland, but
Oh my God.
That's why I've got a Scottish accent, Alex.
Yes.
I was actually thinking that, like, Vix, I've never heard this about you before. You don't sound Scottish at all.
There are certain words where you definitely go Cardiff. There's certain words, but the rest of the time it's kind of it tends to be like undefinable, and then every so often you're like, oh no, you're Welsh. Like, it's like my mum's side of the family are from Wales, and my mum has only ever lived in England, right? But whenever there's an R, she consistently rolls the R, like, and it feels racist. So that's like, honestly, we were in the. I was with her the other day, and she was chatting to me, and she like was listening to the radio, and a song came on. And she went, "Oh no, I can't listen to that. It's by Cardi B." And I was like, "That's not how you say Cardi B." Like that was absolutely ridiculous.
That was a pretty good.
That was pretty. So I'm not too. It's the only thing I can do.
It's quite in North Wales, though,
Yeah.
rather than a Cardiff. But me and Morgan Rees gigged together on Wednesday. And when you've got two Welsh people together, both become more Welsh.
Yes.
Just by osmosis.
I get that,
So I got
yeah.
in there like normal, living my life. And I was like, oh my God, Morgan Rees, how are you? What's going on?
Because that's also, I think a lot of, and that's just an awful stereotype, but middle-aged, middle-class women do it, where whenever my mum goes on holiday, whatever country they're in, the waiter will come up to her, and she does their accent back at them.
Yeah.
And it's so bad. It's like...
You're trying to fit in.
I know
think,
you're, but it's almost like she's like one step away from saying like how you say, like it's really bad. Like it's giving like French football manager. Like it's not good. Like
Have you guys seen 90 Day Fiancé?
No.
I have not.
Right. Okay. Well, yeah, I watch things that you guys don't watch as well.
I'm conscious.
And this is cooler. Okay.
Young people's business.
Yeah.
And it
I'm the
happens on
youngest
there.
here. Let's put that on.
It happens on there a lot, but you know it doesn't matter because you guys don't know. So
What happens on there? Oh, they do each other's
yeah,
accents.
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
You don't mean to. It just happens.
Yeah, but
Just want to fit in.
they're just desperate to fit in. It's fine. All of this is getting cut.
Anyway, shall we get to the topic that we actually want to talk about? Or?
Yeah, go on then. Why not? Why don't we do our jobs?
Fine.
Good transition.
Be like that. Let's do the stuff I'm prepared for.
Yeah.
Square, but sure.
We're talking today about tokenism, particularly for us within the entertainment industry and the entertainment business, because we're all in showbiz, darling. We're all.
I wish, listener, you could see where we were.
Yeah, it really, it would be. Yeah.
I like this studio.
I
This
really
is
like
our studio.
Let's make it out like there's no video being recorded for this, so there's gold-plated ceilings. We're currently sat under a chandelier. That's where there's champagne on ice. It's wonderful.
It's really warm.
We're surrounded by
so
antiques. I
warm.
mean, that is true.
Yeah, none of us are in our coats. It's lovely in here.
To be fair, it is nice. It's rustic. That's
Yeah.
fine.
The studio manager is listening. It
And
is a
this-
lovely studio. We do really appreciate you for having us. Thank you.
It's very harsh.
So yeah, we're here to talk tokenism in the entertainment industry, which is something that I think has definitely affected all three of us. Me as a disabled queer comedian, I'd imagine you two as queer comedians, but also as female comedians. It's got a...
And disabled, don't be.
And disabled. Holly has just been diagnosed with ADHD, and she is desperate to be like me. I was in a green room the other day with a comedian who I won't name, but they said I came off stage and they went, "Oh, do you know what? I think I'd just be so much better if I had one of your little quirks." And at which point I looked at her and went, "Do you mean one of my disabilities?" And she went, "No, something, just something like ADHD." I was like, oh, Jesus
Fucking
Christ!
hell.
Right, and she said that, and then
So
the guy
they've graded
headlining-
disabilities,
Yeah.
like aspirational to
Yeah.
genuinely life.
And then another guy on the gig is the wonderful comedian Tony Law. Right, he's fantastic, Canadian comedian, and he was chatting to me about it, and because he was not happy about it either, and he was talking about his daughter has autism, and he was talking about that, and we were having a chat about that, and then he went, "Yeah, I think like it's so hard when people mask or feel like they have to mask. It's terrible." And I said, "Oh, yeah, sometimes I don't think I portray it enough. Like sometimes I think I wonder if people look at me and they don't know." And Tony genuinely went, "Let me stop you there. You fucking got it." Like, cheers, Tony.
We all know.
But it was like, I've told the story on the podcast before about how I once went to a gig, and it was my first paid gig, by which I mean £10 towards petrol. And I was like, very much did the whole, "Oh, thank you so much for having me," like shook his hand. I was like, "Really appreciate it. That means a lot." And he genuinely looked at me and went, "Don't worry, you're only here because you're gay and disabled." And it's like, that is,
Wow.
like, people still think like that. And that
We
happens.
did that gig with, what did he say? "Oh, we don't normally have the gays here," or something.
Yeah,
of
so
that
this is
nature.
a promoter who, yeah,
Right.
we were in
Yeah.
the middle section, and we were three comedians in the middle section, and he only referred to us all night on stage and off stage as the gays, and it was mad.
Jesus
And then
Christ.
gave us some wonderful advice at the end, didn't they?
Yeah.
Oh, there's no point saying they.
Unsolicited,
He.
by the
It
way.
was definitely a
we
white
didn't
man.
want any.
Yeah.
It was unsolicited advice about how we could sort of break out of open spots.
Yeah, you've
You
got a
know.
lovely face. That's what he said to you.
Yeah, lovely face, lovely manner. I
sounds
think.
But your
like I know
material's
who
just,
this
but your
is.
material just isn't
Bubbly.
good enough. Bubbly, that's the worst,
Bubbly.
isn't it?
And I said,
Wow.
"Well, it's a new material gig, so I'm not being paid for it. So I've tried some new stuff here." And he was like, "You need to impress me." I was like, "Oh, I fucking don't. I'm never going to see you again."
Yeah. He's the only person ever I've vouched never to gig for again. Like, it's written into like my rider. I will never gig for this person again because they are
God.
A
awful.
year passes and I forget how vehemently annoying I find the experience, and then I go, "Oh, well, how bad can it be?" And then I remember almost immediately.
Because
So
it is worth saying that we can go 6, 9, 12 months and life is great and like all gigs great and we're like, "Oh, things go really well today," and then you just have one where there's just one person who's just off, and often we are made to feel like yeah, we're only there because of who we are rather than actually we're fucking talented and
Yeah.
we're good people and people pay to come and see us. Like but we're often made to feel like that's not the case.
no, it's just this ticks the box that I need to tick to be a good promoter. And I think there's a real problem with this tokenism in you do it and you want to be the change, and we're asking for it. Like, particularly women in comedy, we're like, we see an all-male lineup and we say, I can't believe there aren't any women on it. But then you go and you're the woman on it, and it's such a horrible experience that you're like, is this what we're fighting for? Because like sometimes the audience, annoyingly, they don't want it for whatever reason. It's like, I can sort of understand promoters to a degree, having done sort of promoting myself. Like, I don't want to put a comedian through a gig where they're not going to feel supported, where they're not going to have a nice time. That is bad for my gig. And I've done a couple where I've sort of headbutted myself onto the lineup and I've gone, and it is unfortunately a room full of very bigoted, often like straight white men, not all straight white men, but a room full of bigots. And I don't know,
not all men.
I don't know which bit of me they find offensive. Like, and I guess because I came out quite late, so now there's a new thing in the mix. But it was like, oh, is it because I'm a woman that's not apologetic about being a woman, or is it because I'm gay, or is it just being a woman? You've decided that I'm not for you for whatever reason. And it's particularly because, like, when I started comedy, I started in London, where there were so many lovely queer, nice, inclusive gigs, which attracted those kind of audiences, that it sort of didn't occur to me that I'd have to adapt my style if I was going further out. And then I moved to Sheffield, and the circuit isn't as kind. There are little villages where I get booked on a gig, I get all excited, within 30 seconds I'm like, oh, this isn't for me, and 10 minutes can feel like the longest 10 minutes in the world. And it's not my material necessarily, I'm just not for them. And so when a call out goes for women on more of those gigs, I don't want to do it. I think maybe there are women that have also done it that don't want to do it, but also if we don't do it, there aren't any women on the lineup, and we complain about that as well.
It's a catch-22,
it's a really, I'm pragmatic in that I sort of see both sides, but there are also loads of gigs where we absolutely would smash, and we don't get on those either. But I think it's hard. It's a hard balance to strike, and I think women should be able to go in and smash every room, but not every room is ready for them, and that is a real shame in the year of 2025.
Yeah.
But
do you ever feel like you have to, and I'm aware that I'm a man asking this question. do you ever feel like you have to play a character? Because sometimes when I go on stage, like often, particularly in the early days, when you go into rooms and you'd be, I wanted to talk about being queer, I often felt like what I had to do was what I call dial up the camp. Because that's what people want, because that was easier, because certain audiences who had been less exposed to gay entertainers had this vision of, they wanted the campness, they wanted often a lot of innuendo. Is what was
Julian Cleary, Graham Norton, like the old school,
because that's what they viewed it as, rather than you could be a comedian like any other comedian, also just happens to be gay. And I mean, look, I do innuendo in my sets. We all do, right? There's a place for innuendo. It's fun, but there are times when you go on stage, you're like, I don't want to, because it feels like you're just playing a stereotype. And that feels terrible, but sometimes it feels like you just have to do it just to get through it. And I don't know if you, but both of you as women feel like you have to play a certain character on stage as well to kind of combat that.
And particularly as a femme, because I think, again, there's like a genre of female comedians that are lesbian that people are used to seeing on TV. So people who've blazed trail like Susie Reffel, Jen Brister, they come out, you can tell exactly what they're going to be about. Whereas people don't necessarily like to be surprised by you. If you are femme presenting, you come out, oh, surprise, I'm gay. Like, it's not, they don't know what to expect, and I think that sometimes knocks you off course when you're trying to get laughs, because they're thinking about a lot of things that aren't your jokes. And when I'm doing hard rooms, I can occasionally default to this kind of pub landlady bawdy style. Like, if it's a rowdy room and I know my little stories are they're not in the mood for them, I do dial that side of my personality up. So I go very, very Welsh and very sort of, cheeky, sort of, I tell people off in a way that that's not who I am as a person. And but I don't feel like I'm being true to myself when I do that. Like, like I said, I'm bawdier. I'm not necessarily a bawdy comedian, but I'm like, I try to play the room that I've got, but it's not very authentically me.
Yeah, I get that. I mean, I did a tougher gig the other day, and like I feel like you're playing the character. Like, I dropped the C-bomb on stage.
I've done that before.
I've never done it. I mean, I did it on stage, and I was like, what the hell? What the hell? And I literally I did. I mean, in fairness, the guy was what I called him. But like, it was.
Oh, you called someone?
Yeah. Well, he was quite rowdy and heckling throughout the night. Wasn't
Yeah.
particularly pleasant. Also, the MC addressed him early on and went, "What do you do for a job, mate?" And he went, "I'm a fire safety officer." And he went, "Oh, right." And he went, "Yeah, I worked on Grenfell," which is always a bad start.
That's a comedy cul-de-sac right there.
Yeah,
and he
to-
knew it as
and
well.
he
That's
knew
the
it.
thing.
And then to make it even worse, he said, "Yeah, and it was a sweet little money maker." Can you imagine? And then he was like, "Okay, and now Alex Mitchell." Like, it was horrific. And like, it was just this guy. Like, I think you have to respect the audacity of him to say it. Like, the balls to go, yeah, 1,000 people died. I made a fucking shit ton of it. That's incredible, isn't it? To have the balls to say that is fucking mental.
They walk among us. There was a lovely Chinese comedian who did a joke that was not in any way really related to anything about a nationality. And she was like, "Can you guess what I went to jail for?" And this guy shouted, "Eating a bat." And I was like, what is wrong with
Oh my
you?
God.
Like, that is not funny on so many levels that we haven't
Yeah.
even got time to unpack. And like, he really thought he'd done something. Like, he looked at the room like, "Hey, am I right?" And like, no one was there for it. It was just, people are really emboldened.
Yeah, it's true. What I will say is, most people who come to comedy are lovely. I think it's what I say. Often I worry that we
But
get
you don't
too
remember
deep in
those,
negative.
you nice,
No,
well-behaved
that's
people.
true.
You remember the worst
Yeah, you
and the
remember the
very
worst
best.
ones.
Like,
Yeah,
the people
that's
in the middle,
true.
you tend to go, well,
That's
that was
really
great.
true.
And that, you know, I expect it to be great. And then when I'm disappointed or surprised, it becomes a core memory. But yes, tokenism.
Yes. So we will talk more about tokenism.
I think
but
we
what
are sort of broadly talking
So
about
I think
it,
we are sort of broadly. I'm sorry, I was distracted. You know, earlier I said Hollie's just trying to be like me. She has just pulled out a fidget toy. So as soon as that happened, I went, "I've got to focus. I've got to keep talking."
I was listening and seeing how many calories were in this monster, and also like, oh, a notification has popped up. So yeah, it's like, find yourself a gal that can do all.
We're all just all multitasking. But yeah, I think we talk about tokenism a lot, and I think it's worth discussing the difference between when we talk about tokenism and we talk about things like diversity quotas, which are very, very big in the news at the minute because of our old enemy, Mr. Trump, right? And the issue with it is that people often say tokenism in terms of we have to have someone on the night, and because they're on the night, or we have to have a queer comedian, or we have to have a female comedian on the night, and because they're on the night, that means the night is complete.
Yeah.
Diversity quotas state much more about, no, every industry should be representative, right? So if 20% of the world is, I'm plucking that figure out now, if 20% of the world is gay, then 20% of all people in entertainment should be gay. 20% of all people in engineering should be gay, right? That's how it should work. Now, some people are dead set against that because they don't believe that it means you're getting the right people for the job.
Yeah.
Now, personal opinion, that's a lot of bullshit, right?
Yeah.
But that's sort of how it. There's a big discussion between the two at the minute. I think people are getting the two confused quite often.
I agree.
And that is causing quite a lot of issues with people who are saying, not just either you've got people going, yeah, I can book an all white male lineup now, that's fine. Or you've got people saying, I'm a good guy, and I'm a good guy because I had one disabled comedian on tonight. It's like, no, that doesn't make you a good person.
Yeah.
And also the fact you felt the need to put that on Facebook or your Twitter says a lot about you.
So I had like 2 trans comedians on a panel recently, and I just didn't even notice. And then I was there, and I was like, "Well, look at that! We can do it by accident."
Yeah.
There's like a man. There are 2 lovely trans people. There's a queer woman. This is. I didn't try. It just.
Yeah.
And I do panels at Edinburgh, and they just tend to throw down that way without design. But you do have it in the back of your head. I do. As somebody who's got a panel show, it's like there are 4 places, and you can't always have a full house despite best efforts because, you know, people are busy, but it's not a lot of effort to try your best. And it doesn't make you a good person. It just means you're getting a lot of perspectives, the right amount of perspectives that may educate people. And I think my brilliant trans comedians that were on the panel, like the way they talk so openly about their experience, I think did more for people understanding it because they weren't expecting it. You know, it did more for making that feel it's not other, it's just a normal, it's not the most interesting part of them. It was just their experience mixed in with their experience about everything else. And it was like, I felt really good about it because I had a moment of panic. So I was like, oh, what if there are mean people in the room? I don't want people bullied on my show. But it was just a really lovely.
And also, like, you didn't book them because they're trans.
No,
you didn't
they
just
were just
pick
the
up a
best
trans
people for the
person
job.
you didn't
Like,
pick a
they're
trans
just
person
really
off the street and go,
genuinely
let's
great.
have a chat.
Yeah.
You know, it was done, you know, properly, and those people were booked because they have a story to tell and they're entertaining.
Yeah.
Right. That's exactly how it should be. But again, I say often we're made to feel like it. I expect the biggest gigs I do, or when I've done stuff on the telly, there's always that voice in the back of your head going, "Am I only here because of this?" And that's how society has made us feel over
and
years of it.
There are a lot of jealous people that are looking for a reason why it's you and not them, and it's easier for them to believe that than it is to think my talent, unfortunately, isn't quite where their talent is. And I think that's a lot with diversity on things like that. There's a lot of that about. There are a lot of people that are looking for excuses as to why it's not them and it's about them. It's not about you, but it manifests in you feeling like you look around, you're like, oh, am I the token person here? Did I earn this seat or did I?
Yeah, and I think it's worth saying like the best comedy nights are ones when you've got people from different opinions who have different views. So like I would describe us all as relatively left wing in terms of our political belief, right? And so, but there are right wing comedians. It's not my politics, but I do believe there's a place for it, right? The same as like, you do want straight white men. We're not saying we don't want straight white men on bills. You know what I mean? But you do need female comedians. You need comedians of different religions, of different races, of different faiths, right? Because otherwise, if you have a bill of 6 men who are all 32 and they've all just had kids, you know exactly what their set's going to be.
Yeah.
Hey, not all men are the same.
No.
It's like saying women talk about periods.
No, okay. But you sort of know...
But it is a well-trodden
because you've got
trope,
similar life experience, lived experience. It's the same as like when you have...
see a young panel and you go, they're all going to talk about Tinder.
Yeah, but it's also like when you have an all-female night, you're not booking the same... All the women you book aren't all the same age. They're not all the same... they're very different. Again, you need that. You need that difference, because otherwise, why would people come and see comedy? They'd be seeing almost the same thing all the time.
But the risk is when you advertise like a women's comedy night, sometimes it's just women in the audience. And I think, they're not... It's tricky. You can have all women and not mention it, but then you do see these situations like funny women audiences. A lot of them it's a very women heavy audience. Yeah. It's like it sort of almost alienates people who, like you said, they don't necessarily know it's gonna be for them, but it is for them because we're all humans, and that is what makes us alike. And there's more that makes us alike than makes us different. And like
we've said the same thing with queer nights, haven't we? Where me and Hollie have both done queer nights where, I mean, Hollie sums it up brilliantly, where the audience isn't there for comedy.
Yeah, they're there to support.
To be, the
they're
community.
There like, woo, gays.
Yeah.
Right? And so they are the hard, I love doing them, but they're hard work.
They're expecting kind of like drag stuff or really camp stuff. And
I found myself second guessing talking about a crush that I've got on Triton from The Little Mermaid, because I'm like, oh, this is a queer gig, and I was like,
oh my god, what is
We're
this
back to
happening?
it, baby.
Yes, I'm aligned as a lesbian, but also if my first joke's about fancying a man, am I going to lose? I think you overthink these things quite a lot.
It's very interesting. I took a drink at the worst time there, sorry.
It's the same in sort of business as well, though, and because I do PR as my day job, and you see marketing things happen where there was clearly the people that they are trying to represent and celebrate are not in the room. And I think that is something like International Women's Day. I don't know when this is going out, but International Women's Day is in the month of March. And the company I'm working with at the moment is doing bouquet making for International Women's Day. And I don't know how I feel about that. I just feel like that's not really where we're at.
It feels a little bit regressive, doesn't it? It doesn't feel the most
like having a drag queen in for Pride. It's like I get it and I understand it, but it also feels like that's not necessarily what International Women's Day is about. It's not necessarily what Pride is about. It's all having a great big gay party. And also, like Pride, we every year people say it started as a riot. It's not a nice street party for you to just go and wear your rainbow flag until it becomes controversial to have a rainbow flag on your business, as it has become recently. And like Pride is suffering for it. It was very trendy a few years ago to put a rainbow flag on your social media, to be like, we're supporting Pride. This, and you're like, how are you supporting Pride beyond putting a rainbow on your stuff? And they're like, 0.1% of these gay sandwiches sold will go to a gay charity.
I love the whole gay sandwich thing.
Like, well, that was
it's just the most ridiculous ridiculous.
released the LGBT sandwich. Do you know what my main issue with the LGBT sandwich is, right? That is a BLT that you've put guacamole in.
I know, and it's not even good.
Yeah,
it's not a nice
so
sandwich.
not only are you offending
it's
the gays,
divisive.
you're also offending the Mexicans, right? There's an entire country that you have, as well as the gay community. Anyone Mexican is going, why the fuck did they put guacamole in a BLT? That's insane, right?
But it was so trendy. It's like, and like 2019, I you know, like I said, I was doing my homework on the bus for this. 2019, Budweiser sponsored London Pride. They were very pleased with themselves. They also sponsored the World Cup in Russia.
Yeah.
Right.
And like,
Yeah.
you can't do both without acknowledging that you're not really for one if you're for the other.
Yeah.
And I think this comes up time and time again about all sorts of rights, not just like queer rights. But it was really trendy for a long time to put a rainbow up and go, yep, come on, gays, bring your pink pounds to our establishment. But it's got a bit harder recently when politically it's not a safe topic anymore, and it's not a brand safe topic. You can't participate in Pride without accepting that there's a risk of a backlash now.
Yeah.
And it's really sad to see.
It is. 100%. I think for me, 24 years old, I feel like this is the most I felt threatened. I mean, I came out when I was 16 years old, but I think now feels like the most, I felt threatened in it, particularly because as well, like, I guess the circles I operate in as well. Like, I'm a massive sports fan. I love sport. I love football, love rugby, love cricket. It's just one of these things where it's like it's becoming less and less accepted. And I talk a lot. I'm often asked a lot about rainbow laces. Yeah. Right. And whether I support rainbow laces, whether or not. Now, the thing with rainbow laces, what they've done this year with the Premier League, top league in England for football, is they say captains were to wear, they always wear a captain's armband. They want them to wear a rainbow armband. Now, this year, 2 Premier League captains decided to do something different with it. Sam Morsey, Ipswich captain, decided not to wear it because of his religious beliefs and the country he's from. He's from Egypt, although he was born in, I believe, Wigan. But he's he was like, because of the country I'm from, he might not be from Wigan. He's from somewhere up north, I think. I think that's where he was born. But he said, because of the country I'm from, I'm not going to wear it. So chose not to wear it. Now, what upset me most about that one is that the club stood by him. So Ipswich Town went, that's fine. Now, for me, why couldn't another player who was fine with it wear it? Yeah. Why did they all have to, not I wouldn't use the word boycott. Why did they all didn't represent it at all? Yeah. I'm not even sure they had corner flags with the pride flag. I'm not even sure they had those. Right? Why was that one person's choice then became representative of the whole club? But not just the whole club. That's a whole, football clubs represent the whole area. That's the whole of Ipswich. Right? And it's like there will be queer Ipswich fans. Why has that been allowed to happen? And that for me is a failing from the club that not that he's allowed to be captain, fine, but it's a failing for them that they didn't represent it in any way. They had options. The other captain, and this is where I get more sort of, it's more difficult. The other captain is a guy called Mark Gahey. Mark Gahey plays for England, he plays for Crystal Palace. He wrote over the top of it, Jesus loves you. Yeah.
Oh,
now there
my
was
God.
Exactly. He has weeks after it happened came out and said, "I'll just share my religious belief." I said, "Jesus loves everybody." That's all it was. But the connotations.
Did he mean
he used it to make a political statement himself, and it's like you either abstain, or that was like the worst case scenario.
Exactly.
That's worse than not
very
wearing
much
it.
So.
I think.
The connotations of that were repent. Yeah. Right, that's what the connotations were.
Of course it was.
Now, the FA, the Football Association, have a clear rule where they say you cannot have any political statement unless it's previously agreed. So things like taking the knee for Black Lives Matter in 2020, that was agreed. You're good to do that, but you can't share. Which again, I think not being able to share a political statement, I think it's a bit bullshit. Yeah. I think, you know what I mean. Like also like it's things like. Also, how is a footballer do that? Well, often it's off the pitch. Yeah. But they're not allowed to show, I think you should be allowed to show what you believe in and stand for what you believe in. I think that's fair enough.
They want everybody's money, and that's where that comes from.
Exactly.
They want everybody's money.
So they have this clear rule where they say you can't have political statements. They investigated that. They can't have political or religious statements. They investigated Mark Gahey and took no further action.
Of course. That
is the biggest failing. As a gay football fan, we've forgotten. That is the biggest kick in the balls because it's the sport we love where we want to be safe, we want to enjoy it with everybody. It's so frustrating, and it's the same with a lot of football fans on social media, there's a lot of them who are very supportive, and I would say the majority are supportive. There's a very small who aren't, but they often say things like, "Why do we have to wear the rain badge? What you do, what your sexual orientation, your preference, that's up to you. It doesn't bother me." And it's like, you're not the problem. The problem is people it does bother, because it does still bother so many people, and we need to show that we're here and we're going to support each other.
And if you're not bothered, what are you even talking about then?
Yeah,
Just it's not for you. Scroll past.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm not wearing a big
People
arrow.
who are not bothered.
Yeah.
Don't comment.
Exactly.
Just go. It's not. About
I'm
me.
not wearing a big arrow saying I'm gay. That's not what it is, right? So that really irks me. Like, I find it so frustrating, because every time you think we're getting to a better place, like, we've got an openly gay professional football in this country. We've got the first one ever. We've got Jake Daniels. It's incredible. And like and he came out when he was like 17. That's absolutely unbelievable. And I'm totally in awe of that man. I think he's incredible. And yet, things were like, oh, maybe this is feeling, maybe things are getting better. And it just always something comes crashing in the way. And at the minute, it's the diversity quota argument. And, it's gone back to a thing where it's not that we're trying to raise awareness, it's that we want attention. That's the rhetoric we're being given. And if anything, I really hope this podcast pisses people off.
Yeah. I just think it's, you'd love to go to a comedy night or any kind of entertainment and, turn on the radio, turn on TV and see a version of yourself represented. And I think that is something that, women have faced for a long, long time as well. Like, getting a woman on a panel show took so long, it brought the whole thing down. Mock the Week doesn't exist anymore. They finally started to get women on, and now it's gone. It's very tiring to work out what it is about you that maybe isn't suitable for everybody.
Yeah.
I am planning a wedding at the minute, and there is no.
Right,
Let's not get into that.
Nice. Is this your sister or your friend?
Oh my god, we get asked all the time for our sisters because we've both got long blonde hair. It's like, are you guys sisters? No. Anyway, so there's a website online where you can look up like venues and all that kind of suppliers and things like that. We went on it the other day, cause, getting down to the last few venues that we want to look at, because we're really, really picky. I am really, really picky. So when you put in LGBT safe, there's a box that you can tick. LGBT friendly, I think it is.
As if there's venues that aren't.
The venue.
No, but I know there are, but as if there's venues who advertise themselves as LGBT dangerous.
Yeah, actually.
Not for me, thanks.
Yeah, exactly. It's mad.
The number of venues that there are, more than halves.
Jesus Christ.
And I think that's just a case of they haven't ticked that they're LGBT friendly, but then some of them are really funny. When you go onto their website, it'll just have a flag at the bottom that's like, we love that you're in love. And it's like, we're just the same as other couples. Let us exist.
We are paying you for a service.
Yeah.
Provide the service. So that's all this transaction is.
Oh my god.
I know. Right, we are unfortunately running out of time, but it has been an absolute pleasure talking to you, and it's been so insightful and lovely. It's lovely to have an intelligent episode.
It is.
Usually it's just me and Hollie rambling. So this has been really lovely. Forget about the Brit Awards episode. That was a car crash.
Hey, I enjoyed it. That's why I'm here.
Well, thank you very much.
I listen to the podcast before I go on though, just to make sure.
I'll tell you who doesn't listen back. Hollie Noble. Right?
I listen to one.
You're there. Why would you listen to your own voice? That sounds like hell.
I just think you're obsessed with yourself, actually, Alex.
Yeah, wow.
Someone's got to do the work.
It's like reading back your old articles and going, damn, I'm real clever.
Do you ever do that? I only read the ones where are bad about me.
Yeah.
I always read the ones where they're like, he was shit, or he was not good enough. Steve Bennett, sure, always read those ones.
I watch my own social media a lot. That's good.
I still regularly go through the comments section of my BGT clips just to see what people say.
That's self-harm.
It really is.
That.
It's really, because there's always one which is funny.
You don't need that negativity in your life.
There's one guy on
They're all positive. What are you talking about?
No, they are. The majority of them
I can tell from his vibe that they're not.
You tell from my
I'm not making an
personality.
assumption based on the quality of your work. It's just the way you position this. I'm like,
Hey, a lot of people I'll tell you who didn't like it. The Daily Mail.
Oh, what a surprise.
Yeah, I know. But in their comment section, loads of people being quite horrible. And then one guy tried to support me by commenting, "How dare you go for this young man? He is a true British man." And I thought, that's the worst fucking review I've ever had in my life. Because that means racist. That's what that means, doesn't it? I went on that show wanting to be a comedian. I left a Met police officer. That's how it went, right?
And that's a perfect place to end.
That's the perfect place to end. Fuck the Met. end the podcast.
The views represented by Alex aren't represented by everybody on the panel. Or maybe they are.
Or maybe they are. These two, right, look.
I work in corporate PR.
Vix hasn't got a job to go back to. That's it. We've ended Vic's career. We've done what we came here to do. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Queers On podcast. Please, you can follow us on social media, or you can follow us on Spotify or wherever you get your podcast. Leave us a review, that'd be great. Follow us on social media, follow Vix. All our details will be in the caption. I'm still on tour. Please buy some tickets for that. That'd be great. Hollie's doing shows all over the country. Vix, is there anything you want to plug?
I've got a podcast that I haven't put any episodes out for ages, but they're really good to listen to, Comedy Arcade. I've got a consumer finance podcast called Spendology, which tries to make money funny. So yeah, see if I've done that by going and listening to that. And Edinburgh Fringe, I've just confirmed my venue. So I'm doing the last week of Edinburgh Fringe with my storytelling competition, Comedy Arcade, in the live room at Three Sisters, and I think it's going to be absolute bedlam.
Nice, lovely venue.
5:30. Come along.
That'd be great. Thank you so much for listening. We will see you next time on the Queers On podcast.
Thank you.